Is infinite banking so simple that a fourth grader could understand it? Yes! Infinite banking is so simple that a fourth grader can understand. There are three types of people when it comes to money. Which type are you? Which archetype are you when it comes to money? Stick around because I'm going to go through all three types, and this will give you insights to where you're currently at and how you can build your financial future for the better. Stay tuned. Jason Sipple here, Founding Fathers. Welcome to another webinar. We're here together where I break down on a weekly basis infinite banking, the process, and how can you apply it to your family's finances. How can you set that foundation and make it rock solid? If you're new here, go ahead and smash the like button, subscribe, and ring the bell. It might just turn blue and be alerted for new content which is coming out weekly. Is infinite banking so simple that a fourth grader can understand it? Yes. And now let's simplify infinite banking. It's not a product, it's a system, it's a philosophy, it's a strategy. It's something like a habit. It's like making our bed in the morning. Has anyone here, give me an eye in the chat, has anyone here seen the amazing commencement speech where I think it's an admiral talks about the power and the simplicity of just making your bed in the morning and making it really well. Because why? Because it sets us up for success for our day. We are simple. We are simple, and to see progress, when we see progress, we're what? We are happy. We're happy, and to implement infinite banking, the strategy, you need the right tools. It's like playing soccer. You don't play soccer with a baseball bat. You don't play soccer with a football. Well, that's kind of rugby, but you get the picture. You don't try to put up a wall with a screwdriver. The right tools at the right time are crucial, and you need to build them properly. And today, and welcome Mark, good to have you here. Today we're going to talk about the three archetypes, and I want you guys to think and really to take notes and ask yourself, which one are you? And whichever one that you are, it's okay, because the first part in growth and development is self-awareness. I was definitely a combination of the two folks I'm going to talk about and tell their stories, and I'm curious, are you one of the three archetypes? Are you a combination of two or maybe three of them? And then really ask yourself, well, what is the next level for you? Where do you want to go? Where do you want to go? So we're going to talk about Sally Saver first. We're going to talk about Sally. I'm going to go to the whiteboard here in a second and pull up a little bit of a diagram and kind of walk you guys through it step by step. But Sally is a disciplined woman. She's someone that grew up, her parents were very frugal, they didn't have any debt. They always taught Sally, when you want something, you have to save for it. And when you save for it, then you have to delay your gratification a little bit. Sally, you can't just have everything you want at once. But they worked hard, they're a good family of faith, and Sally always did her best. And so as Sally grew up, as she got a job, she was a model employee. You know, she showed up first, she left last, she worked hard, and she did her job right. And Sally followed the first law of wealth. What is the first law of wealth, y'all? You guys remember? It's written about in The Richest Man in Babylon. It's written about in Think and Grow Rich. It's written about in Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Money Master the Game. What is the first law of wealth? It is simple. It is to pay ourselves first, right off the top. We want to pay ourselves first. And we say it all the time. And why? Because repetition is how we develop better habits. So let's go to the board. Let's look at Sally's illustration here. So we have this. I already kind of drew it out. You guys see, and give me an eye in the chat if you can see it. Do you see the nice big red line? Anybody here hear of the rat race before? Can I get an eye in the chat? Have you guys heard of a term Robert Kiyosaki calls the rat race? You guys get a picture of what the rat race looks like? Right? We're going around and around and around, and no matter what, we always seem to end up back at the beginning. We don't go forward. We make more money. Our expenses rise to meet that. Our income rises. Our expenses, our needs, our wants, they rise. So we're going to talk about Sally first. Sally wants a new car. She's got her eye on this sweet little red coupe. You know, she's been watching this car for a while. She's got the one she wants picked out. She's going to wait to one of the optimal times of the year to buy this new car. And she's super excited. Sally has discipline. She picks discipline over regret, and she pays herself first. So look here on the board. Sally saves, right? Sally saves. This is year 1. Sally saves $5,000 here. Year 2, she does the same. Now she has $10,000. Year 3, year 4, and year 5. Sally has saved up for 5 years. Thank you, Brad, with the eye. 5 years Sally has saved up to buy her new car. She's so excited. She could smell the car. She's so tired of her beater and riding the bus. She goes to the bank, and Sally does what? She asks for all of her money. She asks for the money in the bank. Now, they don't want to give her the money. They might not even have the money in the bank, the conventional bank, but she takes her money out. Or she can even write a check from her bank at the car dealership. So she goes to the dealership, she negotiates, she says, hey, I want to pay cash for my vehicle. And Sally's smart. Sally doesn't want a car payment. Sally doesn't want to have to worry about anything for the next 5 years. She just wants her new vehicle. She already has her insurance saved up on the side as well. So she goes and she negotiates. She gets exactly the car she wants, the interior, the color, everything. Everything. Sally is so excited. And then she writes the check, and what happens to all of the money in her account? All of the money in her account, it goes from $25,000, she buys a new vehicle, and she goes back to this red line. She goes back to zero. She's 5 years older, 5 years of discipline, 5 years of going to work, 5 years of doing the right thing, and she has how much money? Give me, you know, in the chat below or in the chat here, give me a number. How much money does Sally have after she buys the vehicle? Zero. She has no money. She has interrupted the compounding, the growth in her savings, which is probably paying her 0.07% or maybe 4% if she had a really, really high yield savings account and she had been saving there. And what happens? She resets the clock. Sally starts the clock all over again. She goes back to zero and she starts saving again. She goes to the same job, doing the same thing, 5,000 here, another 5,000 here. And look at Sally work. Year 3, her car's starting to get a little dinged up. Maybe she's got some kids at this point. And kids do not keep your car clean. They do not. They get mess everywhere. I have no idea how cookie crumbs get to the places cookie crumbs go or those type of things. So Sally saves for another 5 years. So now it's 10 years later. Sally goes and buys another car. She trades in the car she has. She gets a better deal. She's a little nicer car. And now she has another car. She writes another check for $25,000. And what happens? She goes back where, Frank? She goes back where, guys? She goes, fathers, answer the question in your head. She goes back to the zero line. That's the definition of the rat race. So now we're 10 years later in her life. And she has done the same things. Yes, she has 2 cars that are depreciating assets that will depreciate by 60 or 70% for most automobiles out there, most trucks out there by the time you get to end of 5 years. And now she has another vehicle, a newer vehicle. She's got the new car smell. She's super happy again. And that wears off pretty quickly. And I want you guys to think, are you savers? Do you resonate with Sally or Sal Saver? Is that who you are for your archetype? Because next, we're going to go into the next archetype, the next type of person when it comes to money. And then Sally's going to repeat this year over year over year, right? So over 5 years, Sally has bought in 5 cars. She has saved $125,000, and she has bupkis. Zero. No money. She has no money. She has nothing for her future, nothing for future Sally. So her discipline, her hard work, her doing the right thing has not gotten her anywhere. Anywhere. So let's go over to someone that is destined, a little foreshadowing here, destined to meet our next archetype. The next archetype is Johnny. Johnny Debtor, right? You guys all know a Johnny. Johnny is the life of the party. He is always fun. He's always got a joke. He's always making other people smile. He is, an average student in college, but everyone loved him. His professors loved him. His friends loved him. The groups he led. Johnny is just a people person. He loves everybody. He loves speaking. He loves talking. He's a good dude. Johnny is the guy that you guys all say, man, I wish I had Johnny's confidence. He's so confident. And Johnny graduates from his school with a degree in finance. And Johnny's father, who's a hardworking guy, business owner, looks at Johnny's beater that he got in high school and says, Johnny, you cannot drive that vehicle. I repeat, you can't drive that vehicle to your new job. If you try to drive that new vehicle to your new job, no one's going to take you seriously. You need a new ride. Well, Johnny, unlike Sally, has no discipline when it comes to money. Johnny lives by the seat of his pants. He does things in the spur of the moment. When he wants to go to a game, he spends the money. When he wants to go to a nice dinner, he goes to a nice dinner. Johnny is always doing what feels best to Johnny. He's practicing regret. Does this seem familiar? Are any of you guys, do you resonate better with Sally Saver, Johnny Debtor? Maybe you're a combination depending on the time of year, depending on what's going on in your life. Either way, Johnny goes to the car dealership, and it just happens to be the same one Sally's been going to for all these years. And Johnny goes there, and he says, hey, I want to trade in this old beater. I need a new ride. Now, Johnny doesn't have good credit. He has average credit. He doesn't have, much other debt, a little bit of credit card, because his father made sure that when he graduated, other than his student loan debt, which is crazy, that he didn't have a lot of debt. But Johnny goes, and he goes to the dealership, and what happens? He takes, kind of drew this the other way, but he takes out the $25,000 loan, and he pays it back to where? He pays it back to where? Back to the zero line. Johnny takes on debt. He gives up the interest that he could have earned. Like Sally gave up the opportunity cost of the money. And Johnny is now taking on debt and paying more over those 5 years than he would have if he had taken Sally's discipline approach. But either way, Johnny pays down the $25,000 and he ends up right here with Sally. And then he does it again. He goes, I need another $25,000. I have not learned my lesson. I have not started saving. And over those years, he pays down that and he ends up right here. And this zero line is the definition, is Robert Kiyosaki's definition of the rat race. When we interrupt our compounding interest, when we take on third-party debt, when we get debt for something that we could have bought in the moment and we finance it over months or years, like our cars, our homes, second homes, then we take on that debt and we're giving up the interest to someone else, and that is opportunity cost. Johnny keeps repeating his pattern year after year until one day Johnny's getting promoted. He's doing great at the bank. He's making a little bit more money. He's starting to invest in himself. He's a good dude, like I said. He's someone that we would all like. Johnny starts investing in himself. He starts learning and seeing some of his patterns. He's been around a lot of wealthy people at this point. He has different clients and entrepreneurs come into the bank all the time. And then this woman comes in, and she is organized. She is pretty. She is just a lovely, lovely person. And she goes up to Johnny at his window, right? He's a teller at this point. He's actually overseeing all the tellers, but today he's stepping in and he's working at the window. And Sally comes up, and Sally and Johnny talk, and they hit it off. Sally's buying another car. Johnny has been taking on debt all these years. They hit it off, and they happen to like the same kind of car. They start talking. They have a lot in common. And Johnny, he's brave. He's always been courageous. And he asks Sally out on a date. And she's like, yeah, that's awesome. Let's do that. They go out. They start talking. They become friends. Now, she takes out another loan. Johnny's in debt again. But as they start getting to know each other, they start understanding, wait, maybe there's a better way. I wonder what the wealthiest people are doing. I wonder how people keep their money, how people grow their money, how people build, keep, and create more wealth. Like, how did Walt Disney build Disney World? Imagine if we weren't talking about infinite banking, if we have any Disney fanatics with us today, where would we be today? I said this earlier in another, webinar I was leading. Well, maybe there'd be no McDonald's, and I'm not sure that'd be such a bad thing, even though you can have the same kind of McDonald's, fries, and hamburger anywhere in the world, and that's kind of comforting when you're someplace where you don't know the food. But Ray Kroc wouldn't have had the opportunity. And so let's go back to Johnny and Sally. So over time, they're dating, they fall in love, and they have this great idea. They're going to take all of their knowledge from Johnny working at the bank, from Sally's business, and they're going to create a course to teach people how they can take back control of their money, how they can live a life with some freedom, how they can serve more people. And they go into our third type of avatar. Our third archetype is the wealth creator. It is someone who understands that with one simple change to your philosophy, just changing where does your money go first, everything can change. Everything. We teach this at the Money Multiplier through specially engineered whole life. So, this is what the kids love, the third and fourth graders. Johnny and Sally, they fall in love, they get married, and they become wealth creators. They build a business. They take their superpowers and they start changing people's lives. They start answering problems for other people and helping them. And a wealth creator on the board looks like this. This is the zero line. They build their money, and instead of interrupting this, they borrow against this. So they never touch this money, and then when they add more to their account, I don't even have enough room on our screen. Can I scroll that down? Nope. So with that, the wealth creator goes up and up and up. They never interrupt their compounding interest. And so how do we get here? How do we start here? What do we do to become wealth creators? Well, first, we have to know where we're at. We have to think of our financial life. Like, look at what archetype are you? Are you a Sally saver or a Sal saver? Are you a Johnny debtor or maybe a Jonah debtor, right? Or Yona debtor. Who are you in this? Or are you already a wealth creator and you're looking just to take your life to the next level? No matter what, there's always more. We know that no matter how good we are at something, there's someone that's going to be a little bit better than us somewhere in the world. And that's cool because that means we can still improve, right? It's not a competition. It's a competition amongst ourselves. And so we want to look at our financial life first and plug the holes. We want to plug the financial leaks. We don't want to turn on the faucet full blast. That's not going to help if water's leaking out. With infinite banking, that helps you plug the holes. That helps you start practicing where you can save and spend your money at the same time. And it's not just about the interest like that Johnny was giving up year over year. And it's not, whether it's 3% or 5% or 8%, it's the volume of interest. And it's not the money that Sally was losing opportunity costs every 5 years. It was the volume of opportunity costs that she loses over a lifetime. Because Sally, Johnny, you, me, we're all going to buy, drive, and own somewhere between 10 and 13 cars during our lifetime. We want to look at, let's talk about a little bit more about wealth creation, the debt versus savings dilemma. So, for anyone that was a Dave Ramsey follower, he teaches a lot of good things. I, don't love his attitude, but you have to be controversial, maybe, to get your point across. But Dave, wants everybody paying cash. He wants everybody driving beaters. He wants everybody putting their money in a can and burying it in their yard. That comes with limitations. Not only do I believe that wrecks our mindset, it puts us in scarcity, it also is not protecting your family for the future. It's also not helping us become wealth creators. We're playing defense, and playing defense never wins a championship. It's limited. It doesn't help us. And this is where the average American comes in. So we're going to talk, about the average American that's not saving enough money, right? We're over $1.13 trillion in credit card debt as of this week. And that's an all-time high. I've said this almost weekly here. We save about 3% on average. And I get it, everyone. I get that it feels like inflation's going up. We don't know what's going to happen with the upcoming election. The stock market's up and down, and we don't know if the economy's going to soft land or not. There's all this unknown, and that's normal. That's how it's been for hundreds of years. Just over time, we've all been through this. Our parents, our grandparents, we've all been through something big, some financial shift, some health scare, something big. So change is inevitable. So if you know change is coming, don't be the average American. Don't rely on debt. First, we want to start really understanding that it's about us asking better questions, about us being more creative, us taking on a new philosophy. And again, Dave Ramsey's advice is good for those who want to stay in middle class, be more secure, live paycheck to paycheck. Like I said, buying a beater car, saving up, paying cash for a car. But if you don't keep saving, if something big changes, if maybe you can't work, what happens? You fall back into debt. You fall back into what you were afraid of in the first place. And that is not a life that I want any of you to have. And so the limitations of traditional advice. So whether for our three avatars, whether you're Sally Saver, Johnny Debtor, or a wealth creator, we'll call him William Wealth Creator, right? We'll keep the alliteration going. So whether we're going up and going back to the zero line as a saver, going below the zero line and up to the zero line as a debtor, once you know that you always end up in the same place, and it doesn't matter if you're just buying cars, this applies for vacations, it applies for everything. If you want to achieve significant wealth, you want to find what are the wealthy doing. If you guys got questions, please pop them in the chat too. So for the wealth creation, we want to understand opportunity costs. We want to know that no matter what, we're either paying interest or giving up interest that we could have earned. Everything we buy, we finance. Everything. Even if you pay cash. If you're here, I don't know, Felix or James, anyone here, if you're paying cash, then you're giving up opportunity costs. And some things, parking at a game, you're going to pay cash. There's times when you pay cash. It's just, but we want to know what we're doing with each situation. So we want to understand what we truly want. Where are we going? What is that big vision? Who do you need to become? Once you know that, what do we want for our perfect vehicle? What is the perfect machine? We want our perfect machine to give us flexibility. We want to have control of the environment. We want to be in charge of the environment. We want guarantees, right? When we want food, and when do we want it? We want it now. We want guarantees. Well, guess what? With specially engineered whole life policies, you have two guarantees. You have a guaranteed appreciating asset day over day over day for the rest of your life. It actually grows every day. That's pretty cool. And you have a guaranteed death benefit. You have, for the person you love, the cause you care about, you are going to leave a legacy behind no matter what. As long as you practice discipline like Sally. As long as you can wait and hold off and not need everything right now. When we go from there, we're going to look, well, what can you use? If you can use it to buy cars, infinite banking, You can use it to, applying it to real life scenarios, we can use it to buy cars, to fund our kids' educations, to go on vacations, to buy investment properties, to buy new properties for our family, to fund weddings. Anything that you can imagine, you can use because the money's liquid. You own it, you control it. This is your machine. And infinite banking helps you have more money on a predictable basis. It gives you control over your financial variables. And if this doesn't appeal to you, we're probably in the wrong place. You wouldn't still be here if this didn't appeal to you, though. So if you have questions, I want you guys reaching out, letting me know, pop it in the chat. What questions do you guys have? Is there something here as far as an avatar? Were there questions that you ask yourself today maybe you weren't asking yourself in the past? Did you say, hey, sometimes I'm Sally Saver, sometimes I'm Johnny Deader. I just want to have a good time and I don't want to worry about it. I want to do the ostrich effect and stick my head in the ground. It's okay as long as you're being honest with yourself. Where are you today? Again, ask yourself questions, journal, write this down. And if you guys want to know more, if you want to know how to take control of your financial situation, you can book a call with me. You can jump on my calendar. It's right there in the window, but it's jason.beyourownbanker.com/30. Here, I'll type it in for you. But let me know what questions you have. You know, who are you? Are you Johnny Deader? Are you Sally Saver? Are you Willard the Wealthy? Thank you, B-Rad, for that. Who are you? Maybe you're a combination of all three. And a better question might be, who are you going to be in the next 5 years, 10 years, 20 years? You're here because you guys want more. I'm here teaching you and sharing this because I want you to have your dreams. We need strong fathers to have a financial foundation, to protect our families, to provide for our families, and to create more magic for others. So, as always, super blessed to have all of you here. Excited to see your wins. Let me know what questions you have. Pop in the chat below. And until next Thursday, we have some fun stuff coming up in the future. We're going to be talking to someone who used to not only has 8 IULs, it's a hot topic lately in some of our chats, but she also sold over 149 of them. And I'm going to interview her and have her on in a couple weeks. We're also going to go through and do a money multiplier experience together, where I'm going to go through the presentation with you guys, especially for you guys, in a pretty quick and efficient way, where I'm going to probably break it down to 40 or 50 minutes versus 90. And we're going to keeping it simple. So again, thank you guys for being here. Thank you for your consistency. Next time, I have a challenge for you. Bring a friend. Everyone here, bring a friend. Bring one person, 2 person, 3 people. Bring someone with you. Let's spread this word. Have a blessed rest of your week, and thank you for being here. Take care. Which type of money avatar were you? Were you the Sally Saver? Were you Johnny Deader? Were you William the Wealth Creator? Write that down in your journal tonight. If you've enjoyed what you've seen here, smash the like button. Smash it! If you're new here, subscribe and ring the bell to be alerted for new content. And stick around, because I'm going to see you in the next video that's right over here that says, is IBC a scam? 10 frequently asked questions that we'll break down together with you. So go meet me in the next video. I will see you there.